Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode in this 5 episode gardening. I think it's 5 or 6 episodes of my gardening, catching up on all the things I got to do in the garden. So after this, it'll just be like trellising, weeding, fertilizing, watering, just your basics. And there's no real big project or anything. You just maintain the garden and enjoy the beauty. So I still have today to finish, and then it should be all said and done. So right now you're looking at where the 2 half barrels, the blue ones with the beige rectangular container, they were all here, and I was going to attach the trellis. Well, I don't know if you can see, but right over there it got moved. Uh-huh. I moved it. Woman's prerogative, right? To change her mind. Anyway, so I put all the flowers here. Now these are all the flowers. I still have to plant them, but I think I figured out the containers I want them in and what I want where. So now it's just a matter of putting soil in it if it's not, plant everything and just get it set up. So over there and over here, you can see I have 2 busboys. Some flowers like the portulaca, which is on the right, they don't have a lot of root system, and some plants with their large root system, they grow better and like they sprawl out more, and they some plants, like I've always said, some like to be pot bound. So the ones that like the shallower containers, there's still a couple I got to move around, but the ones that are okay with the shallower containers will be in those 2 busboys, and then everything else will be in all the others. So there's still a couple things I may end up tweaking, but pretty much that's the whole row of flowers, which will, bring in the pollinators for the vegetable garden and the fruit garden, and it'll add some beauty because annuals will bloom from when it starts in the spring all the way through till fall when the cold hits. So whereas perennials, they have their time of year, they'll bloom for a month or 2 or 3, but they don't bloom for the whole season. So it's nice to mix in the annuals, which this whole row is going to be just annuals. All right, so now I'm going to take you over to where I moved those 2 barrels and the tote. So they got moved over here. Now, if you remember, over there was the stones, and I planted the perennial. That's all a flower perennial bed, other than the raspberry that just showed up. Other than that, it's all floral. I put the 3 stepping stones in. Put a little behind that lilac. You see a white bucket. It's holding a bowl of water with stones for the bees. And then I put in the trellis there with the bird, and there's another one over there that's just abstract. So trellises are nice. Next year I'll probably paint those white. I find that white trellises look better because it's more of a pop of color, whereas the black you don't really see that much. But anyway, so the next fence panel, I decided to put these guys in here. Now, whether it's enough sun for the cucumber in the middle and the peas on either side, that's yet to be seen. I do not have any more sheep manure, so I may buy a bag and split it between the 3 of them. I might not. I don't know. I do have a lot of fertilizer. I did add in some perlite just to keep the soil, light and fluffy. And don't forget, a lot of fertilizers are high in nitrogen. Where beans produce nitrogen, like they take it out of the air and they put it into the soil. So with the beans, wherever you plant the beans one year, you're supposed to move them and put something that likes high nitrogen in those containers, because they're going to be high in nitrogen from the beans the previous year. You know what I mean? So then the following year, you would plant it with something else and move the beans to another container. Like there's a rotation, because beans will add nitrogen, but fertilizer does that too. So it's totally up to you. But organic gardeners, that's most likely what they do, and it does work. If you can tell, this tote here, this barrel, is kind of lopsided. I didn't realize how. Oh yeah, and then this one is kind of leaning back a bit. I didn't realize how unlevel that ground was. I did dig up some of the roots behind the base container. No, not roots, weeds. I dug up some of the weeds behind the base container. There's still some there, but we're gonna have to. I wanted to have enough room to go with the trimmer. So over here, that should be enough room to go with the trimmer. And then we would go all along the back with the trimmer. And then because this is my toss pile, there is room to go with the trimmer around this side. It's just in between here and there. I don't know. I may have to do that by hand. But the trellis is attached to the blue barrels. So now the cucumber can be planted in the middle. And I need to add in the two chicken wire kind of trellises in each of the barrels, so the beans have something to climb up on. And so those will be at a later date. I will put those in. Now, another thing that we did this morning, I tell you, we were busy bees this morning, is this. I got rid of the old platform, and it is right now sitting up against the fence right there. It was holding on to a lot of mealybugs. They, I guess, like wood that rots, and that wood is definitely rotting. It's very old. And by having the buckets on top of it and water coming out the bottom of the buckets, you can see the rings on it. Well, that's moisture in the wood. It is holding on to the moisture, and it's just not shedding, which is why I switched it to this one. I like my 2x4, 2x2 kind of platforms. There's gaps in between for airflow. I have the black garbage bag attached to it, which will prevent the grass from coming up in between the buckets. I found myself one year just having so much grass coming up in between. I tried the garbage bag thing and it worked. So we don't have grass or weeds coming up in between the platform anymore. So I switched out the platform. Now this one is not as wide. In some areas, like right there and right there, it's probably just as wide or almost. But then here, there, and over here, it's more narrow. So I had to figure out how to juggle it all. So the first three, the yellow, the white, and the green, is my hot peppers. Then the next three, being the yellow, the white, and the orange, is the eggplant. And then all those that are not buckets, they're planters, those are all peppers. So that's 6 containers of peppers. Now, the square ones have 2 peppers per container. The blue ones only has 1 per container. Now, I guess this year we will find out if it grows better in a smaller container, because I'm wondering the root system, right? We've got to plant them according to their growth pattern and their root system. So hopefully, being in a smaller container, see, these containers, all 6 of them, does not hold as much soil as those guys do. Even though I don't have it all the way to the top, it's still higher than those planters right now. So because they're holding more soil, they need more roots to get it going, but some don't mind. So I'm hoping the hot peppers, because it's a bigger plant, maybe it can handle it. And then the eggplant, I know I had planted 6 eggplants in one of these Sterilite containers, that one, and it was completely dense with roots. So if I'm not mistaken, they do have a decent root system. So they probably won't mind the space. Anyways, so that's what I did there. And I think that's pretty much it. The flowers are going over there. And that's it. So it's all ready. Just needs to be fertilized. Take care of those insects, the bad ones, like the ants and the mealybugs. And yeah. So we're going to move on. I did promise you fertilizer and fertilizer and insect repellents. Not all insects, of course, but mostly the ants and the mealybugs. So there I set myself up a table, and you can see the garden behind me. So the first one we're going to do is fertilizers. We got Miracle Grow. We got the hen poop. We got bone meal. And we have rock dust. Those are the 4 I use. Now, you can also use blood meal. It's very high in nitrogen. So bone meal is a 410-0. This is a 1200. So this is to add nitrogen to your soil. But I don't use this for my soil because I use these guys. Now this one, I can never find where they write it. They always write, oh here, 24-8-16, right there. So 24 nitrogen, 8 for the roots. I can never remember them. Phosphate. 410-0. Yeah, 10 is phosphate. Oh, this one also has calcium in it. Okay, hold on. Oh, total phosphate. Nitrogen, phosphate. Oh, and then the last one is 0. Okay, well, anyways. Phosphate, and then I guess the last one's potassium. I can never remember. Nitrogen, oh, potash. Phosphorus, and then potash. Ooh, this one has also calcium, magnesium, iron. Huh. Nice. I don't read them. Anyways, so 24-8-16. And this one is a 532. So both of these have high nitrogen in it. This one only has 4 nitrogen, but it has the higher middle number. So just remember the first number, the nitrogen, is for above ground growth. The second number is for below the soil growth, meaning the roots. And then the third number is for the overall health of the plant. This, yes, you can use it if you choose to, and I have no issues with that. But because it's a high first number, and these, not so much this, but these guys have a high first number. This one doesn't have nitrogen. They have high first numbers, especially this. So I don't need it. I buy this to deter rabbits, deer, you know, neighborhood cats. That's what I use blood meal, because they smell the blood, they think of death, and they won't go there. Mind you, if you have pets, you may not want to use this, because your pets won't go in your backyard then. Or not that area. Maybe they'll stay, like if you have it on that side, they'll stay on that side. But animals do not like the smell of blood. When it rains, it does go away. You do have to reapply it. But I figure once they get to know that there's blood there, you won't have to put it out as often. But this is a deterrent for me. I use it as a deterrent. So I'll put it over here with the other deterrents. So these are the ones I use. This one I use regularly. This one actually says on it, apply it every 4 to 6 weeks. So like once a month would be enough. There's no unpleasant odor. Water resistant. So this, you just sprinkle it on top of the soil. I will open it up though, because I am going to be using it today. And they're just pellets. See? They're just pellets. You just sprinkle it on top of the soil, and every time it waters, or you water it, or it rains, it gets diluted, and then the nutrients go into the soil. And that's all it is. And all you do is you sprinkle it on top. You don't have to worry about it burning your plant or anything. This, of course, it's a granular, so you do have to mix it with water. Okay, the blue granular. There, 1 scoop. I put in a oh no, not that one. Yeah, the 1 scoop like this for a 4-liter jug. Now I don't know if that's what it says, but that's what I do. Okay, so they're saying to fill up one of these. Hold on. I have it right here. So it's saying to use one of these garden feeders. It screws on here. You attach your garden hose. You unlock it, and then you squeeze, and the water goes in, mixes with the powder, and then it comes out. And it's good for the grass this way, or if you're a farmer, you have a large, well, maybe not a farmer, they have tractors for that. But like if you have the whole backyard, like in ground, and I've got bed after bed after bed, this might be a good way. This can also be used for foliar feeding. But otherwise, I did try it. I'm not crazy about it, because in my opinion is, when you put water in here and it dilutes, does it dilute enough, or is it going to be like concentrated? And then after about 10-15 minutes of watering your garden, is there any left in here? Because it keeps getting diluted with more water and more water. So I'm not confident with this method. This is good for foliar feeding, but other than that, and I don't do much foliar feeding, so it's been sitting there for a couple of years. I tried it 1 year, didn't logically thinking, didn't think it was as good a method, and I just stopped. Now I just do my bucket. I have a blue bucket where I mix this up in, and then from the blue bucket you can either scoop it out with a like a water jug from the kitchen, and then I just rinse it well, wash it with soap, stick it in the dishwasher, and you can still use it. Oh, another thing you can do. Hold on, I'll be right back. I completely forgot about this one. This. It's a juice jug that you buy in the grocery stores. I don't drink orange juice, but I believe it was last year. We had a family get together, and I bought an orange juice because I know my daughter loves it, and I think she wanted to use it as a mixer with wine or something. I don't know. Mimosas, I think she was making. But anyways, so I bought this so she could do her thing, but they never finished it. So I told her, take it home, drink it, but I want the container back because I don't drink orange juice. It's too acidic for me. So, Tropicana, it even says Tropicana. No, I'm not sponsored. But, yeah. So, this does come off. I believe I took it off. I don't know. I'll have to check, but I'm sure it does. If not, you can always funnel it through here. And so you can put your Miracle Grow in here. You use the smaller side, mix it up, and put it. It smells like blood meal. I probably put the blood meal in here and sprinkled it everywhere. So these are multi-purpose. And then when they break, you just throw it away. The only thing you lose is what, 15 cents a deposit, 20-cent deposit. It's fine. It'll last you. Like, this is from last year. I think it was last year because before that was COVID. So yeah, that's another way. Or make it in a big container and then just funnel it into here and then just go water. When you do give fertilizer, though, you're supposed to make sure that the soil is wet. Well, not wet, but like moisture is in the soil, and then give them a little more moisture with the fertilizer. I forget why. I read this a couple of years ago. They said make sure that it's damp at least before you fertilize, because it could run right through or something. I don't remember. I apologize. So yeah, these are my fertilizers. Rock dust adds minute minerals. It says natural minerals and trace elements. Now, rock dust is similar. Oh, I'm gonna have to sit down. Azomite. In the States, it's called azomite. It's rock dust. And this is the same thing. This is, they got it from northern BC here in Canada on the west coast. It's mined from Piermont Glacier Moraine. I don't know these words. In British Columbia, Canada. The source of natural minerals and trace elements that plants may need to thrive. Can be used on farms, home gardens, landscape, turf, for a full range of plant types. And it tells you how to apply it. Well, I do the same like with bone meal. I grab my hand, put my hand in, grab a clump, and sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. So this and the bone meal. Okay, so this is monthly. This is the opposite 2-week monthly. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And then these are anything like this I do for tomatoes and peppers mostly. You can use it all over in your garden, of course. Everything can use the minerals. But I focus mostly on tomatoes and bell peppers because they need their calcium. This, as you saw, it was for the roots. I usually don't use this otherwise, and this is not so much. It's mostly these two guys. And this you sprinkle on top, this you put it in a jug, a 5-gallon bucket, whatever, mix it up, and you're golden. Okay, so that's for the fertilizers. I'll just clean this up and bring out the next one. All right, now to get rid of those pesty animals, insects, whatever. So, bone meal, I've already explained. I sprinkle it at the front, over on this side. I sprinkle it over by the spruce tree, but outside the fence, because the cat likes to jump in there, because that's where the birds hang out. So I put it there to deter the neighbor's cat. Over there is because that's the way the deers jump in, and I've had deers in my backyard. On a previous video, it shows the deers. So they come in that way, so I put a whole bunch there. This is for your critters. I've never seen rabbits in here. I can't think of anything else. I've only had the neighbor's cat, who actually went to the bathroom in my containers. Only once or twice, but yeah, I found one time. I was like, oh my god. That was gross. And then deer, well, I've got footage on that. So, all right, next one, diatomaceous earth. It's anti-caking. Now, this is crushed up seashells. Ooh. Oh, I do have it. The last time I didn't have this. Okay, be careful. It is a very fine powder, and you could end up breathing it or swallowing it. It's not going to kill you. Ooh. All right. I did not have this, and that's why. Actually, I think it is the same brand. Oh, I got it all over me. I think it is the same brand as last time, except this one came with the applique, and I don't have this. I would just, actually that orange jug, that orange juice jug, I remember using that one year. Now, diatomaceous earth will not hurt your animal. It is totally safe. If they're small, maybe they'll get an upset stomach. I'm not sure. But I know it will not hurt you, me, or any of the pets. It's more for the little insects, the little critters that are, not critters, insects that we don't want in our garden. So there you go. And then you just squeeze. You fill this up with diatomaceous earth, and then you squeeze, and it poofs out. And for under the platforms, I can do this. Put it all along. Now, because it is, you can see how fine the dust. It's even finer than flour. It's more like, well, maybe like flour. Like it goes everywhere. It's very powdery. This is actually food grade. So I guess companies that produce products that need an anti-caking agent, they use this. Chickens, They bathe in this to keep the insects off their from in their feathers. Um, it is just a shell, crushed up shell, but because ants are really tiny, and any insect that has the exoskeleton, this will actually cut into their exoskeleton and then it will kill them. Um, Imagine getting a cut in your skin, a real severe one. And, well, mind you, humans aren't the same. We would just bleed and bleed and bleed until it coagulated. Um, but with insects, no, it will actually cut open their exoskeleton and I believe dry out their insides or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. But it is dust may cause eye and respiratory irritation. So that's why you're not supposed to breathe it in. It can go into your lungs. Mixed with animal feed in an amount not exceeding 2% by weight of total ration. Anti-caking agent to be mixed in animal feed, so it's not for humans. But it is totally safe as far as I know. Oh, here it says duster included in this bag. I got a duster now. Ground fresh water, fossil shell. I just want to see if it says anything about pets. Only fill the dispenser a quarter full until you're accustomed to the best fill method. And then they have a website. Maybe small animals will get an upset tummy. But if you think of it, chickens bathe in it. They're going to breathe some in and they're going to get some in their mouth. And yeah, so just Google it and make sure. I'm no expert. But I just wanted to let you know, I use this. And this for the bigger animals. This for the insects. Now, there are two more here. This one, borax and sugar. So, what I do is I do 2 parts sugar to 1 part borax. And then the water is your choice. Where are my pop bottles? Ooh. So you take your pop bottles. A couple years ago I did it. And oh my God, it was amazing. I didn't keep it. I tossed all the bottles. So these will end up in the garbage. But, oh my God. Last year I barely had any ants. And whatever ants I saw, they were tiny, tiny little baby ants. So the queen survived. But what you do is in a pop bottle, you put, like I said, 2 parts sugar to 1 part borax. And then you have an option with the water. Either you just put like 1 tablespoon of water, so it's more like a paste, and you shake it up, and then you make holes on one side, like, I don't know, 4, 3, 3, I don't know, just random, I don't know, about 10 holes, 8 holes, and you put the cap back on, and you put it on the ground like this. Now the sugar attracts the ants, and they will eat the sugar water, not realizing there is borax. Borax will kill them. Borax is used for you can use it in laundry when you're washing your whites. It makes it whiter. Um, it's not a bleach or anything. It just brightens your light colored clothes. I tried it on my black clothes and no, it made the black look all grayish. Don't use it on darks, but on light colored clothing, this will actually brighten the color of your clothing. And so it is a laundry, it's like OxyClean, similar. It's a water softener. It makes your light colored clothes brighter. I always have it in the house, but I also use it in the garden. So this is what I keep in my laundry room. So when I'm doing this, I just pull that out. There's a scoop. And I bring some sugar, tablespoon, mix it up. Now, if you make the mix more watery, which I have a tendency to do, I'm not very good at making it pasty. If it's more watery, then the ants that go in will die and you will get a layer of black ants in here. Just toss it out. Put a new one out if you still have a lot of ants. Now, if you want to kill the queen ant, make it more of a paste. Because if it's a paste, the ants will carry it back to the nest. The queen will eat it and die. But I'm not too concerned about the fact that I have trouble making it a paste, that mine always ends up watery. Because if you think of it, ants are all over in this world. Not if I get rid of it in my backyard, my two neighbors have it in their backyard. The ones across the street or across the lane, they have them in their backyard. So you cannot eliminate them completely. And even having a water form of the mix, it still gets rid of the majority of them. And yeah, I end up throwing away a lot of containers, but I'm okay with that. They're what, 5-10 cent deposit? 10 of them is $1. So I will put them in between containers. Like, let's say the blue and the beige, I'll put it right between the two of them. Make sure the holes are on the upper, on the top part, and I'll just leave it there. Last year or 2 years ago when I did it the first time, I had so many ants that probably 3 of my 10 containers was a thick layer of black ants on it. If you know where the nest is, put a bunch of them around the nest. But you know what? Every couple of years you do this. I have this always in the house anyways. We always have sugar in the house. So I'm okay with it. Like last year I didn't have to do it because they were all so tiny. They were babies and we didn't have that many. This year it's starting to become a nuisance again. And I know where their nest is. So that's my remedy for ants. This will probably take care of mealy bugs and anything else. Now the last one, the fourth one, is diatomaceous earth. Now I have never used this. I really wish I had it last year, which is why I got it. Neem oil comes from the seed of the tropical neem tree, also known as Indian lilac. Although it has a harsh odor, it's high in fatty acids and other nutrients, and it's used in a variety of beauty products like skin creams and lotions. Oh, I didn't know that. It's 100% pure, multi-purpose, nutrition for the skin, and reduces wrinkles. Apply a few drops directly on the skin. Add it to carrier oil. Well, that's not what I want it for. It's nice to know that it's safe for your skin and everything. But no, this stuff, I guess I got from a company that does face products. But neem oil, doesn't matter where you get it from, 100% natural. I'll have to Google though how to dilute it. I believe you put like that juice jug, you probably put a tablespoon in there, the rest water, and then you need a sprayer. Um, if I'm not mistaken, you can spray the whole plant with this. Google it because I've never used it before. But I last year I had so many. I don't know if they were weevil insects or if they were aphids or I don't know what they were, but they infested my hollyhocks. Oh my god, I had tons on my hollyhocks. And I tried this. I tried this. Well, this I had the one without the dispenser. Um, and I couldn't get it. I tried hosing it to knock them off. No, it was less, but then I don't know, a few days or a week later, they were all on the stems again. So I really wish I had this last year. But anyways, so there you have it. My 4 deterrents, killers, whatever. My 4 fertilizers. And of course, you know the routine with the fertilizers. I also have the slow release, which I finished the jug yesterday. I also have the sheep manure. So you know the routine. So that's everything I got. When this video gets posted on YouTube, we will be back from our camping trip. So I hope that you guys had a good week while I was gone. When technically right now I haven't left yet. So hope you have a good week and hope you had a good week. Does that even work? Like, is that a thing? I don't know. Weird. I don't know what to say. Anyways, do what makes you happy. Everything else will fall into place. I'll see you when I get back. Take care.